Hello and welcome to my life. I am Tracy Constantine and I'm the holistic health guide at the Mother House. I have lived many lives in this body and yeah, and now I'm just gonna talk about some of them. So, I've been going through, I have some journals. This is one of my journals here. She's so pretty. And sometimes I drew pictures. This is a picture, my journal, of the 4 aspects of myself in relation to the medicine wheel and the 4 directions, north and south and east and west. And so this is interesting. I'm just going to read my dream that I wrote in here and then talk a little bit about the picture here. I gave birth in my dream last night. A vagina opening was the size of a watermelon. I could see the universe inside it. I received a message to ask a woman in my life at the time if I could call in the directions at the next ceremony. So one of the things that I've gone through in my awakening is lots of ceremony and, many different landscapes and experiences. And this place that I was speaking of was in up in the hills of New York, and you know how when you get to a place and it just feels very familiar? Well, that's kind of how it was for me. I had many different memories come back to me when I would go to the land, and I had many moments of healing there, and it was just really special. It was a really special place. It still is a really special place. The woman who was the curator and caretaker there is moving to Colorado, and I will miss her, but her work here is done, and her work with me is done for now. We'll see what we'll see if anything pops back in. If there's any plot twists. That's what I like to call it. Good old plot twists. You never know what's so they say that sometimes the parallel lines can meet, kind of like in a picture with railroad tracks, right? Like the horizon, and they're parallel still, but the perception on our timeline and in our knowing or knowledge, or how we see things in the world and how it comes to us, can bring those. Maybe it's, the horizon acts as a illusion, or maybe not an illusion, but where it brings the 2 points together. That I'll have to think on a little bit more, but there's physics behind everything, the macro and the miniature world, micro. So anyways, back to the picture here. I'll just show you again. There's 4 characters that came to me, and I will start over here in the east, and that is what was her name? Audrey, the alchemist. She's electric. And she took a lot of my energy. She took a lot of space in my mind. Always calculating, always always had that chemistry going, like the mad scientist. She was an Einstein for sure. She still is. She's still there. She just doesn't get to take up as much space. Sometimes I have to put a lid on her. And then we'll go to the south. This is Ava. Ava's the passionate one. She also took up a lot of space, and I think that was my imbalance in my sexual body was Ava, I used Ava as a ploy to fill when I didn't feel satisfied in my body and myself. And we don't use Ava like that anymore. We honor her in a tantric way, and I don't even think we have. I think we've just touched the surface of how to really go deep with Ava, because you have to develop a safety in your environment and in your relationships if you're going to explore this. And so Ava she's awaiting to be revealed, which is fine. And then over here you have Miss Marjorie. Oh, Marjorie. Marjorie is, at first, I think I just drew this part at first, and so it's just like this cloaked woman, or I didn't know what was under there, right? And then I realized, if you can see her, I drew what was under the cloak, and it was a small woman who seems to be a little bit of an Eeyore, and but she has a place. I believe the west is where the sun sets. And the place is, she puts a balance within the rest of them. She's very smart, and she knows how. She overly protected herself, I would say, and so she came out and showed herself to me, which was welcomed. I welcome all the parts of myself. And they are beautiful, all beautiful characteristics, all beautiful different women. And I think my goal with all the parts of myself is to allow for their wholeness, So Marjorie being that kind of punk. She's a punk. I love that. Let's do it, And I think one of the best things about her is that she did not let me use her, and that's why I kind of threw her aside and really focused on these two here, because Marjorie stood up for herself. So good for you, Marjorie, and thank you for allowing me to have some balance with that and letting me sit on the bench. So one of the things I do in my healings when I'm spending time with other people's in the dark, in the deep spiritual moments, the beautiful moments in that sacred space is, if there's any fear or sadness or overwhelm from someone's spirit, I have learned that it's really important to sit on the bench first for a little while, you know, and just build the trust. Because if the space does not feel safe, it will not be aligned with the frequency of God or frequency of the natural order of life. And so that is very important in my work, and I protect that. It's sacred, and it has proven to be a main point of healing for all involved. Everything's in its right place. And lastly, the old precious. This is Rose. Rose, she likes to, she's the boss. She's not the boss. They all have the same amount of and this brings me to another point, you know, the hierarchy of life, right? So like as you can see, like it's in a circle. So even though Rose sits up here in the north, it doesn't mean she has any more power than any of these other ones. She just has a specific duty, and they all have a specific duty, and they all get to have 1/4 of the circle. I love that. And Rose, you know, she keeps the order, which is great. Like, we love you, Rose, for doing that. Thank you. And I think the biggest thing is that they all learn how to love each other, clockwise and counterclockwise. Yeah, so those are the main characters that I came into contact with in my world. And I hope you enjoyed that little journey into the characters in my awareness or psyche. Namaste and have a good day.